Hi, this is Shanker, and today is Janamashatami. Happy Janamashatami to all. It is Rohini Nakshatra, one of the most powerful nakshatra, one of the most, the nakshatra which is nourishes, which feeds, which can make you grow, can make you prosperous, good for starting new things, nakshatra for love, marriage, so many other things. It's a very good nakshatra today. And Sri Krishna was born in Rohini Nakshatra. Today, as we celebrate the birthday of Krishna, who signifies a lot of things, signifies the way of life, which teaches us the way of life for us, and also on a very high plane. I mean, if you want to see him in his radiant form, in the form of love, in the form which is portrayed and projected in the form which has the power of sun, and which is rays, and which is beautiful. It has to do with your spiritual endeavor, with you understanding your mind, with you understanding your intellect, and with you understanding your body, and you know and that is what he teaches in various shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, that if you are able to be with him firmly, to have faith in him firmly, and then do all your karmas, having faith in him, he will guide you, he will take you, he will release you, he will take you to the right path. So, I mean, Krishna is again, to repeat, is a way of life, and a way which we should all try to follow. So today I was having time, so I thought of making a small video, and this video on this day, I'm not going to be specific in the video, but I will tell you certain important things which are extremely important while you make predictions. So these are significators or small pointers for prediction, which you must always take into account. And the most important thing is, never neglect the tithis. The tithi a person is born gives an idea of the houses which are essentially going to be weak. They are going to be hampered. They're going to be dampened. There is a little softness in those houses. You need to take care of those houses. You need to see those houses very carefully. They are pulled down. They are pulled down. They are. I mean, I should not say they get negated or they become zero rashis. But there is an element where they are pulled down, and just to tell everybody and those who don't know, and these are the basics of astrology. If you don't know the ABC of astrology, you cannot actually go ahead. The first tithi, I mean, if you're born in tithi number one, that is, it will apply for both waxing moon and waning moon. So tithi, first tithi, the houses 7th and 10th house will be areas which can be pulled down. If you're born in the second tithi, it is the 9th and 12th house which get pulled down. If you are born on the third tithi, it is the 5th and 10th house. If you are born on the fourth tithi, it is the 2nd and 11th house. If you are born on the fifth tithi, it is the 3rd and 6th house. If you are born on the 6th day, it is the 1st house and the 5th house. If you are born on the 7th day, it is the 4th house and 9th house. If you are born on the 8th day, it is the 3rd and the 6th house. If you are born on the 9th day, again it is the 5th and the 8th house. If you are born on the 10th day, it is again the 5th and the 9th house. On the 11th day, it is the 9th and the 10th house. In the 11th, it is the 9th and the 10th house. And on the 12th day, it is the 7th and the 10th house. 13th day, it is the 2nd and the 8th house. On the 14th day, it is the 3rd, 6th, 9th and 12th house. On the 15th day, all the houses are powerful, and they have the potential of giving the bad and the good results. But when you're born in these tithis, as I've told you, these are the houses which get inherently weak depending on tithi. Whoever the horoscope may be. Of course, you cannot say those houses become totally negative. You have to see the horoscope, but these are the houses which, if they are, and the Lord of those Lord of the house was exalted, I mean, there will be a pull down effect on those houses. Even if the Raj Yogas are formed by the houses which are becoming weak, which I have mentioned, there is going to be a problem. So that is the first thing you should see. The second most important thing which one should see is the nakshatra. And certain nakshatras are always powerful. They will give good results, like like sun. Any planet which is in the first and the fourth pada of the nakshatra of sun will bound to give good results. Similarly, any planet which is in the second and fourth pada of the nakshatra of Jupiter, I mean, the Lord is Jupiter, the nakshatra Lord is Jupiter, it will give you good results. Similarly, any planet which is in the third pada of a Venus ruled nakshatra, it is going to be good. Any planet which is in the fourth pada of the nakshatra of Rahu, it is going to be good. And similarly, if any planet is in the second pada of the nakshatra ruled by Mars and Saturn, it is going to be good. So you should remember this. These are very important. If you see any of the planets in these padas of the nakshatra ruled by these planets, that is, if you see the first and fourth pada of a nakshatra ruled by sun having a planet, be sure that planet, even if it is not in a good state in respect of avasthas and etc., it is going to give you good or better results. So this is one thing which you must see while analyzing a horoscope. The third most important thing which we keep on forgetting is the nakshatra. How to analyze a planet when it is in a certain nakshatra, and this is a very critical thing. Let me explain you. Like, suppose you have ascendant as Kark Lagna. You have Kark Lagna, that is, your ascendant is Kark, and therefore you will have Jupiter, Saturn, and Mercury as the lord of Punarvasu, Pushya, and Ashlesha nakshatra. Right? So these are the three nakshatras, and they will be ruled by Jupiter, Saturn, and Mercury. Assuming you have a planet which is in the last 29 degrees of Cancer, so it would fall in the Ashlesha nakshatra. Now, the Ashlesha nakshatra here is ruled by Mercury. So the planet, let us assume the planet is Jupiter. Jupiter is at 29 degrees in Cancer, right? Ordinarily we'll say it's exalted, but let's analyze it this way. Jupiter is in the 29 degrees of Ashlesha. Ashlesha is ruled by Mercury. So there will be an impact of Mercury on Jupiter. Okay. Now also you have to see which is the Lord which rules Jupiter. I mean, the last pada, it is ruled by Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. I mean, the 13.2 degrees which are there are ruled by Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. So again, it will be in the Pisces part, which is again ruled by Jupiter. So Jupiter has an impact of Jupiter, it has an impact of Mercury, and it has an impact of Moon. So you have to analyze the relationship between Jupiter, Mercury, and Moon, and Jupiter gets strengthened because it's in Pisces. But this Pisces again will have it will be watery in nature. It will signify the 12th house of the Kalpurush. So that is how you have to see. The 12th house of the Kalpurush will be there, watery in nature. Jupiter is there, impact of Jupiter is there. Therefore, the person would be wise, would be religious, but will be philosophical. He will think a lot. He will not be a man of details, because that is the first thing which is happening. Then it is impacted by Mercury. Mercury is the planet of intelligence, which will again give him that kind of impetus to work intellectually, to write. He may be a good. Now there is always a conflict in Jupiter and Mercury. Jupiter is always about wisdom. It is a planet which likes expansion. It is a planet which it takes you far. It likes to deal in philosophy. Mercury says no. Let's go into the details. So such a person will not be a person of research bent of mind, but he will be a good communicator. Perhaps he can speak. He has the wisdom. He is a visionary. He can understand things and he can speak. Then you have Moon. Moon is basically a lot of things. Moon signifies. Moon is masses. Moon is social media. Moon is communication. Moon is also to do a lot with cheating. It is also to do a lot with deception. So these are the characteristics of moon which also would come into this. And then you have to analyze Jupiter. This I'm analyzing Jupiter as a planet. You have to see the lordship of the houses. You have to see that whether it will be good for live things or good for non-live things, because every planet has a live aspects and non-live aspects. So will it give results to live aspects? Will it give results to non-live aspects? So once this is the way you have to analyze a planet and its impact when it is particularly in the when it is in any of the padas or nakshatra. If you have another planet in the same pada, then it will be a greater impact. If it is in the same if it is the same nakshatra also, the impact will be higher. So then there will be another relationship which will get formed. So that is how you just cannot see that Jupiter is in moon and it has the impact of moon, and so it's it's exalted, and so it will give very good results. So what results it will give, what positive, what negative results, has to be seen by which nakshatra is placed in, which is the lord of nakshatra, which pada it is placed in, which is the lord of that pada, and then we analyze it, and then we also see what is the strength of moon. Because if the moon is strong, the master is strong, obviously it is going to give excellent results. If the master of the house is not strong, it is not going to give you good results. And good result doesn't mean it will not give you any results. It may give you negative results. Moon has the habit of cheating. Moon has the habit of thinking. Moon has the habit of flirting from one place to the other place. Moon also sometimes leads to disease, consumption. It was there is a story which all of you would be knowing with respect to Daksh, where it was cursed. So maybe that negative part comes into play. So it doesn't mean that moon is not going to give results. It will give you results, positive and negative. And today, in today's Desh Kal Patra, some negative results are very important. A person who can lie, a person who can deceive, a person who can con a person who can structure deals, a person who's good at behind the computers, who's good at social messaging, who can create a kind of negativity by means of social media, which is Rahu. And those things have become very important, and people are successful. So you have to see then whether he's going to gain money, whether he's going to go behind the bar. So you have to look at the various things and then start analyzing things, and also considering the Desh Kal and Patra. The second, another thing which once you're talking about predictive astrology, don't rubbish a planet which is 0 degrees or 29 degrees. Please don't do that, because these planets do have energy. There is always a discussion on whether the planets have strength or not. But I believe they're carrying all the strength of the previous house. A planet which is at 1 degree, and even a planet which is 29, 30 degrees has traveled and has all the energy of that particular house where it has traveled. So it carries a lot of energy by itself. Now, how it carries energy, you have to see. You have to see planets in that way. You have to see the planets, which planet is behind, which planet is in front of a particular planet, which planet is seventh to it, which planet is affecting whom in what way. That is how you have to see planets, not only in terms of our Parashar system of 7th, 3rd and 10th, but see the planets, how they are moving, how they move, because it's all about this movement of these planets. Whom does it go and touch? Whom does it energize? How does it energize? Which nakshatra it travels? Which lords it travels? What is the energy it gains while it travels? And thus you come to a result, which is of course very complicated, and it also comes with experience. But this is one thing which I would like to submit as a part of my research, which I have done over the last 35 years now. And for me it's an hobby. I research, I read, I see a lot of charts, seen thousands of charts, and that is what my you develop that skill of coming to a conclusion, and that is what astrology is all about. It cannot be a 2 plus 2 science. It is seeing a lot of things, thinking, talking to the Almighty, and telling somebody in a way to help him. So that is what astrology is all about, and that is how one has to deal with astrology. Now, also one of the most one another thing with predictive astrology, which I wanted to say is that when you are dealing with nakshatra, you should also see, you know, which is which nakshatra does your ascendant fall in, or in which nakshatra your moon falls in, because and and then the sun, the moon, the sun, and the ascendant, where they fall, because they actually completely, you know, uh, drive you towards your lifestyle. And while analyzing nakshatra, see the deity, which is the lord of the nakshatra. So those positive and negative things would come in. Like if you have Mrigshira nakshatra and the and the moon is not strong, assuming, then it does not mean that it's going to be negative. But here a person would get into a lot of relationships, as Soma got into a lot of relationships. He may have, you know, he may he could be a big wanderer. If the if moon is in Taurus, he could be a wanderer. He could go from one place to the other, and you know, be an exploratory kind of a mission. However, moon is in the Gemini side of it, you know, it could be more of trying to aspire to, you know, get things what one wants. Similarly, if moon and sun are in Adara nakshatra, then that is a disruptive nakshatra, which is not a bad nakshatra, because any nakshatra of Rahu talks about disruption. And today, what is it all about? Today, science, technology, business is all about disruption. If you have the skills of disruption, if you can disrupt and you have the right intellect, then you are the person to reckon with, because it is all about disrupting what is happening and going ahead. But if you cannot do disruption, you cannot move ahead. Of course, with disruption, you may have a little bit of short-tempered. You may lose your temper fast. You may be acting hastily. You may give an order, but ensure that the order is followed. I mean, these will happen if all the planets are placed in Rahu nakshatra, because Rahu is a planet which gives you all this. It is the karak of disruption. It is the karak of you know, moving fast. It is the karak of thinking fast. It is the karak of getting angry. It is all about you know, behind the scene dealings. You know, how much you can deal behind the scene, your strategy behind the scene, behind the curtain, what you can do in the front of the curtain. You could be a very good person. So that is what the Rahu nakshatra says. So that is how you have to analyze. Similarly, as we are coming to Rahu and Ketu nakshatra, I also believe that all these nakshatras are very important, because Ketu nakshatras, if you are born in, if your moon is in Ketu nakshatra and ascendant, or ascendant is in Ketu nakshatra, I feel these people have to just some karmic debts are unfulfilled, and they have come to fulfill those karmic debts. So karmic debts could be positive, they could be negative. Either we could be taking or they could be giving. So I mean, whatever it is, that's what it is. But however, those born in Rahu nakshatra, I have seen them to be more successful, because they could be people who have been driven to commit suicide, because you know, they were deceived and cheated, or things to that effect, or they had a great great desire to earn money, and they have not been able to earn money. Also, they could have been bhrasht yogis. I mean, people who were yogis, who were going to the path of the divine, trying to understand themselves, and somewhere it came to the mind, due to some reason, that you know, it is important for them to earn money. It is important for them to be number one. Some of them, and these are the people who actually become persons who are to be reckoned with. So that is how the Rahu nakshatras are. Similarly, every lord, the nakshatra lord Jupiter, they have a karmic debt, a karmic energy behind it, which you should always see. Another thing which one should see is also the balance of the dasha a person is born in. That is very critical. If a person is born in a balance of dasha, which is of, let's say, a Raj or Karak planet. Suppose you have Kark Lagna. Somebody is born with the balance of dasha of Mars. Mars is a Raj Yoga Karak planet for the Cancer ascendant. He is going to have a good life. He will be prosperous. Of course, there will be ups and downs, but that you have to analyze also. Generally, it's going to be good, because he is getting with him a good amount of positive karmas. If Mars is exalted, excellent. If Mars is debilitated, then it could be, you know, the bucket has to The bucket has to get filled, slowly and steadily he will come up. So what is the balance of the dasha, which is there when a person is born with. If it is a Rajokarak dasha, or if it is a functional benefit dashas, functional benefit. I'm not talking about natural benefit. If it's a functional benefit dashas, people will do well. If that dasha lord is placed well, it's going to be better. If it is placed a little negative, it will be hurdles. But general, you can get a general outlook of the life. In this, I've studied a lot of horoscopes. Please try it and let me know about it. Another thing which is extremely important and one should never miss is to see how you keep on seeing the lagna ascendant, but also take into consideration the Kal Purush also, because the two opposites of the Kal Purush are extremely important. Suppose somebody has Aries ascendant, okay, or let's say somebody has let's say Cancer ascendant, and so Cancer ascendant is Kark 4 and 10. So it is the first and seventh house will have some relationships with the Kal Purush of fourth house and the Kal Purush of 10th house. So that is one thing which you should also observe while we are looking at the horoscopes. The two opposite houses and what do they stand in the Kal Purush. That is extremely important. Also, my belief is, and this is last today. Today was a very good day, and I wanted to tell you certain things which I have seen. And one of the most important things which I have done, and I have been very successful at, and this is a tip which I want people to try it and see, is that the horoscope tells you the chart by which you are born in this world. Now, when you move in this world, it is the transit. So, three things you have to see together. One is your basic chart. The second is the Varshphal, and the third is the transits. Are extremely important. Now, what I do is that from the basic chart, the Dasha and Mahadasha relationship has to be seen from the D1. That is extremely important. It will tell you the broad outlook. What are the events which can happen? And Antardasha will tell you the chances of the fructification of these events which are there. So that is what the Dasha and Mahadasha, which you should see from the D1. Now when you apply the transit, the current transit which is there, the current transit which is going on, that I always apply it on the D9, because Navamsha, if you apply the transit instead of the D1 on the D9 and then see the aspects only of the transits on D9, and also correlated with the Varshphal. I mean, does the Varshphal signify it? You will be more or less right. Even if you don't take the Varshphal into consideration, see the Dasha, Mahadasha, the Rajyog, the strengths, etc. from the D1. But for an event to fructify, apply the transits of all the planets on the D9 and then try to come to a conclusion. Another important house is D12, because D12 is your DNA. It tells you what you have inherited from your parents, and what is the karmic flow of energy which has come into you. Whether we believe in birth, rebirth, etc., that's not important. But there is some energy which revolves and evolves, and so that is what is the D12. That should be also seen as an important chart. So that is how I do it in a very quick way. Of course, my basic I follow the Bhrigu system also, in which I see the D1 chart, and that is basically based on the movement of planets, the nakshatra in which they move with, the kartattva, the karak, and how the planets are moving with each other. So that is the Bhrigu system, which of course Mr. R.G. Rao has told in his book, but it is much more than that. It is much more deeper than that. And the more you see horoscopes, the more you do it, you love it. But this part of it, do try D1 chart for everything, Dasha, Mahadasha, the potential, and for the event to happen, apply the transit on the D9 chart, and you would see you will be fairly more accurate with anything to test with accuracy of the horoscope, or what is being what is coming to him as prarabdha or a sanchit karma, that see the D12 one, which is, I again keep on repeating, is the DNA. So that is how, are the things which one should see, and the way one should predict. These are small tips which I wanted to give, where you start from the basics and then get into the whole thing to have a look at things. Of course, there is a whole lot of other issues which are very important in predictive astrology. But these are some predictions, techniques, my research, my pointers, which I have tried to come up with and tell you today. I'm sure you'll apply them and let me know about them. I am there on my email ID, connectingminds@gmail.com. I repeat, connectingminds@gmail.com. Down below are all my links, which is my portal, my blog in which I write, the YouTubes by which you could learn. I have, I do consult people. I do give consultation, but it's at a free of. I don't charge anything, so it's just I should have the time. I have the time. I call people. I talk to them, and I do. I mean, I do it seriously. It's not a 5-minute job or a 10-minute job. I mean, 1 horoscope a day is actually, it soaks your total energy. And the most important thing is your prayers to God and the intuition part which you get from Him. That is absolutely critical. With this, I would like to end this video. Happy Janamashatami to all. Have a great year. Be prosperous and take care. Bye. I'm signing out. Bye.